it's that bright time of year. We're almost there.
Can Mark wear pinks and blues and yellow? Can guys do that too?
Absolutely.
What if I'm a
Look at
winter?
This gentleman. He's an all pink, purple.
Oh, let's look at the first gentleman. Break down that outfit for us. Let's see, Mark.
That's not a gentleman, that's a mannequin.
Oh, okay. Let me talk to the first mannequin.
Okay,
then.
yes, please. Sir, step up.
What is he wearing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think we're going to see, like I said, a lot of those pastels. Color goes really anywhere it wants to. So you're going to see layering. If this gentleman was out on the golf course earlier that day, and then we are headed to dinner. Okay.
I like that.
And that could be something where, it's kind of that one and done outfit for the whole day with the layering pieces.
Yeah, that's cute. Now, there's his wife or girlfriend, right? Or whatever.
Yes.
And what's she got on?
We're going to say she picked him up from the golf course, right?
Yes.
And she's in this lovely, you're going to see a lot of prints, polka dots, stripes, kind of that nautical theme, but it doesn't always have to be blue and navy. It can be pink and in the white. So really top to bottom, you're going to see, that difference of, is it warm? Can she take it off? She's got that layering. All about.
I like color.
And I love how we've assigned a relationship to those two because they're close by. That she's obviously with him, and that's the wife or girlfriend.
I don't want to put him in a bad spot.
Yeah,
Maybe there was no
it could be
there,
like the Jumbotron, and maybe she's with a different mannequin, and now it's kind of getting out on social media. Hey, I do have a question. Let's go back to the gentleman, the first one.
Yes.
He's untucked. What's the rules about being tucked?
So honestly, rules are kind of out the window these days.
I like that.
Right? I'm right there with you. So it is something where, it is very much on trend where it does not have to be tucked in and prim and proper as it used to be. Of course, there's that transition piece, if it did need to, and then you could easily pull it out, it's not going to have that crazy wrinkle that it used to have. The fabrics and knits that you're seeing now are much more, universal, I would say, which makes it super easy to go from one place to the other.
I remember on occasion, like my husband and I would go do something, or we're going out to dinner, and if I walked out wearing the same color that he wore, he was like, yeah, no, one of us.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
He wouldn't make you change.
Oh, heck no.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. But no, you couldn't go together, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? For some reason it bothered him.
Now, the funny thing is, I do occasionally, like, at the county fair or whatever, because I do go to a lot of county fairs, you'll see couples in the same outfit.
Yes.
Or...
Yes. That's just
It's
fun.
like, who dressed who?
Exactly. Just good old-fashioned fun. Okay, so let's shift over to our next couple or friend group here. What do we have?
Group.
Yeah, so again, we talk a lot about layering. Shorts are going to be big this year. Hopefully it'll be a warm spring and summer.
To work too, right? So like work shorts?
Yeah, and I think, you're going to see that layering. Purple is great. It's great on men, it's great on women. So this piece particularly, it's like he can take off as he needs to, but shorts are still, that look where they can be that professional look right into kind of that daily, maybe evening dinner time as well.
I can wear shorts to the office?
Hey, that's your own dress code. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
We'll have to talk to the producer.
He is like not taking the responsibility.
I do like what you say about purple, though.
I do like that.
Purple.
I like that's
really
a great
nice
color.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're moving on.
Yeah. So then here, again, sweaters are still, they can still be worn in those spring and summer months. This is actually a short sleeve sweater layered with a nice short sleeve, almost like a collar button down, with the handbags and all of our accessories. You're going to see a lot of crocheting and almost lace even within shoes. So we have this lovely piece here. Again, it's kind of that crocheted straw look. Very springy. Same with this side bag as well.
I like that. That's kind of a throwback, isn't it?
It is. I thought the exact same thing when I saw this trend really start to come back. It's, it just kind of allows for that beachy look, but also can be pulled together in a perfect outfit as well.
I am always mystified. Where do these trends come from? If we traced it back and traced it back and traced it back, are there like 12 ladies sitting around a table and going, this is what these are the colors, this is the style? Where does this originate?
Yeah, I think a lot with, the straw and, the lace, it's like think back to the days where maybe that's all that was really, able to be made. They're going out and they're pulling the palms and, and lacing and crocheting. It's almost that old. So I
Sure,
think,
no, I get
as
that.
things come back.
I get that, but I mean, how do the trends from season to season,
It's
the
probably the
styles,
fashion
how do
shows,
they,
right?
how do they start?
Yeah. So, I mean, really with that, everyone's always looking ahead. So whether it's New York Fashion Week or Paris Fashion Week, we're always an entire season ahead. So this look here, this was created, half a year ago when it
That's
was,
interesting.
maybe still cold out. We were
Yeah.
moving into the fall. So I think, it's a lot of that fashion forward, that designer kind of thought process as to what's next and what's to come.
I love that. Okay, so I'm looking at the list you sent us, and one of the things is wide leg and barrel jeans, still popular
Yeah.
for women, right?
Yes. So
I'm
our
glad.
lovely lady here, yeah, she actually has some bell bottoms on.
Ooh.
And again, it's like we're in a blast from the past, but it really has come back. Those skinny jeans, of course, you can still wear them.
Sure.
Rules are out the window, like I said. But it is something where they're coming back, those wide barreled, kind of the mom jeans, we call it.
I like those.
It's
They're
here to
comfortable.
stay, which is fantastic.
They're so much more comfortable. What do you think?
I say bring back the elephant bells. I mean, those are before your time, I know,
Yes.
but those things were ridiculous back in the day.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's too
Yeah,
funny.
it's a matter of time, I'm sure, before we see them again. Okay, and what else do you have for us there?
Yeah, so this last look here, again, we put her in some shorts. Again, you're going to see those layering pieces. She looks quite nautical. Whether we pair it, with one of our designer Marc Jacobs bags, and it has that striped, kind of navy and cream colored nautical look. It is something where she can go from one place to another. And these kind of all fit in the same realm of, hey, are we, going out on the boat today, or are we going out to lunch, maybe to dinner later? Wedding season is upon us. So some of these nice looks, especially in the layered sense, will help with that.
So, Leah, do you guys do styling? If Mark and I want to come in and, decide that we need somebody to style us?
Sure.
Would you be the one?
Yes, absolutely. The associates and employees that we have here at Von Maur, if I could literally list their names as personal shoppers, that's what we are. We want to ensure that we're that one-stop shop for anything and everything that maybe you, your family, giftables, things like that you need right here in store.
That sounds good.
That would have been a perfect job for my ex-wife.
Well, it's not too late. I'm sure they might be hiring.
Yes, always hiring.
Leah, it's so nice to talk to you, and I love your outfit. I love these ideas because spring is in the air, and it makes us realize that it's right here. It's not too far away, right?
Absolutely.
So,
thank you guys so much for having me this morning.
Nice to see you.
And the Von Maur, you guys are located where?
Yeah, so we have locations, Yorktown Mall, which is in Lombard, the Glen in Glenview. We have Orland Square in Orland, and then St. Charles. So that's kind of the realm of the Chicago area.
I love that. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, happy spring. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay,
have a great
take care.
day.
You too.
Yeah, I need to get out more. I don't run into a lot of Von Maurs.
No,
Not as much as,
When I lived out at the western suburbs, I used to go out there a lot.
Yeah.
I forgot about that place, so this is a nice reminder.
Very
okay,
nice.
are we ready to talk daylight saving time, Gabe? Who are we talking to, Gabe? Oh, Chrissy. Okay. So, well, Chrissy Lawler is going to be talking to us about the daylight saving time.
Okay,
She is,
cool.
Chrissy is not here yet, but apparently we're going to talk to her.
Well,
in
we
just
should
a
have talked
bit.
daylight savings with the fashion.
That's true. But she could tell us what to wear.
Yeah, I'm still just fascinated by, where, this designer style,
Yes.
who decided
year
red
and a
was
half
going to
ago.
be, are there just a bunch of people sitting around a room going, no, I vote for green,
Yeah, well,
no, I vote for
a year and a half ago too. That's what's interesting. She says
That's what's
they pick
crazy.
these things.
And how do you get voted to be on that island?
I know. I want to be in there. Okay,
I know, because you're fashion forward.
No, so this when we were talking about, I said, if my husband and I had the same color on, he's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to wear this. So this leads me to this next topic I wanted to discuss with you. Okay. Look, he looks nervous, doesn't he? So there's a new study out that says almost a third of Gen Z men say women should always obey their husbands. Isn't that interesting? So
A third.
A third. So this is not even, you would think, okay, maybe that's something that the older population would say, but no, this is Gen Z. And this is an interesting breakdown. So they asked that question. What percentage of each generation said women should always obey their husbands? Are you ready? Baby boomer men. The men, 13% said yes to that.
Okay.
Gen X, 21%. Millennials were 29%, and Gen Z, 31%. Isn't that interesting? We're talking Gen Z. Yeah, Gen Z is born the years of 1997 through 2012, okay? So a lot of people might think that's an old-fashioned way of thinking.
Yeah.
But as you noticed, it was going up.
You know, I wonder, and again, I always like to follow sociological trends and things like that, but I wonder if, you know, a lot of folks grew up in, you know, divorced households, and they're looking for more of a traditional, you know, family environment. Now a lot of people are going to, and especially women are going to hear that, and they're going to go, oh my goodness, we're going back to the caveman era. I don't know if that is necessarily what that means. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, I am the, you know, going to be the master and you have to do everything I say. What in reality, I think the model that has been embraced, you know, back in the day was that, yeah, the women should follow the man's leadership, but the man incorporates that woman into all leadership decisions. And they are part of an integrated team.
But that seems like that's contradicting. Explain that to me again. I want to understand what you're saying. The man
is the captain of the ship.
Okay. And then, but he allows the woman in decisions of all major things.
Well, no, they're a team. They have to be a team to integrate together. That it's not just the man just coming down with the edict or the woman. You know, right now you hear this term, happy wife, happy life. And what I've been reading a lot about is that is not necessarily the way to go about a relationship, because if your job is just to make your wife happy, you've lost that team connection, and you know, you kind of just lose traction, that you have to be that integrated unit.
That makes sense. So this study also said that the gap is higher among Gen Z, who not only appear to feel intense pressure to conform to rigid masculine ideas, but in some cases seem to also expect women to retreat to more traditional ways of being. To me, there's a whole nother subject matter here too. That is, I think there is a lot of pressure on men to feel like they have to always be the one who's in charge and has to be responsible, and that the weight of taking care of the family has to always fall on them. Do you know, I think it's a lot of pressure, don't you think?
It's a lot of pressure, and that's why I think if you get back to this, if you're a team and you work together, then that is where you're going to find success. And you know, I think a lot of the younger generation, they look back on previous generations and they go, wow, you guys blew it. You know, you guys didn't do it right. Or maybe we saw our parents do it, maybe not in the right way, so we're going to try this other way. You know what? You could probably spend a year and a half talking about this, delving into, there's so many nuances and so many nuances. But I think the key is to be that team together. Yeah.
I agree with you, just like we are.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Right. Okay, so you would never know that we had to get up super early this morning because we are full of energy. So we are going against the clock, but for how long? Because, by noon or 1, Mark and I would probably be wanting to do our little nappy time, right? So we are joined by Christy Lawler. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist with over 15 years of experience, and she is a sleep expert, has recently written a book about baby sleep, but she can talk about all of our sleep. Christy, thanks for joining us. Sylvia and Mark, nice to meet you. Oh, you're muted.
I think you're muted,
It's that clock, it got to you, didn't it?
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's good to have you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. And we were talking earlier about this whole daylight saving time issue. Mark, you're a pro. You like this, right?
Well, I like having light later in the day. I hate it when it's dark at 4:15 in the afternoon. That drives me crazy.
Where do you fit into that, Chrissy?
You know, I agree with Mark. I hate it when it's dark so early.
Yeah, I do too. I prefer having it, you know, in the evening. So I like getting off of work and still seeing daylight. But, you know, I remember when my kids were little and, you know, having to get up in the morning and take them to school in the dark was sometimes also kind of a bummer, you know?
Well, that's the other side of the coin. And in the past, I remember in the 70s during the Nixon administration, we did abolish that. And the problem was, especially in certain time zones, I remember in Florida, there were some safety issues with kids at the school bus stop.
Which makes sense.
And that's what made them change it back.
But you're here to talk about how it impacts us. And I have to say, who would think an hour could make a difference? But it really does, doesn't it? And why?
It really does, because your body gets used to a certain circadian rhythm. And when all of a sudden that changes, our bodies, especially the older that we get, have a little bit harder time adapting and catching up, kind of like everything in life.
Yeah, it's right. Just like everything in life.
You know, and I think obviously this is self-evident, but this is tied to the clock. I think that's one of the reasons, with the exception of like this morning show, I don't feel as affected by this. I don't wear a watch. Time to me is relative, you know.
I like that.
So I'm not one of those people that are locked into. I have a number of tasks I need to get through, but I'm not like I've got to be someplace most of the time at 1:15, and you know.
Oh, you're not that way?
Well, most of the time it's like, okay, I need to do these 3 things during the afternoon, but I'll go bop, 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 bop. Now, I realize I'm the exception because that's not the way society works.
No.
We've got to be certain places, especially work on a daily basis. We've got to be certain places at certain times. And that's, I think, where the problem oftentimes comes involved,
he's so
right?
chill. We could learn to be like him, right, Chrissy?
I know, right? Can't we all just be a little more like Mark?
Exactly. Okay, so
Yeah, don't do that.
So what are some of the things? Let's start with children, and we'll move our way up, okay? Because I remember that. Don't you remember trying to adjust your children to the hour, right? Trying to get them to take their naps. The naps would stop.
Kinda, yeah.
You know, the school, it was hard to get them up in the morning. You know, it's not like we can start doing it because today's the day. But what advice do you have for parents of babies and children starting today, moving forward?
Yeah, so for parents of children, luckily, since we're already having this conversation, you don't need to do anything this morning. Let your kids sleep in and do your normal schedule like it was yesterday. So that means your nap time is going to be an hour later, your bedtime is going to be an hour later. Tomorrow morning, wake your child up at the regular time. So if they usually wake up at 7 a.m., their body is going to feel like 8 a.m. is the wake up time. You're going to wake them up tomorrow at 7 a.m. and then just get back on your regular schedule now, according to the time change. It might take about 3 days for things to regulate, but spring forward actually isn't a very disruptive daylight savings time. And so usually it's fall back. That's a little bit harder for parents. Your big challenge is getting babies and small kids to want to go to bed tonight or tomorrow night because it's so light and they're just not ready to sleep yet. So that's where the challenge lies, but just have boundaries around bedtime. It's okay if they stay in their room reading books, playing with their stuffed animals. We don't want to add pressure to you must sleep now.
Yeah.
We're just going to roll with it.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I go into my room, read a book, play with my stuffed animals, and,
and then you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay,
Exactly.
Right. So let's talk about because sleep is your thing. Let's talk about some of the other things because sleep is so important. We were talking about this earlier. It can make or break you, right? For some people, we're talking older ages. You know, there's a lot of talk about teens not getting enough sleep. And, you know, I look back, I think the reason a lot of my teenagers weren't getting sleep was because they'd have to go to school early, then they'd get home, and then they'd spend the next 4 hours doing homework. That was always the worst.
Right.
So I don't know if it was because they weren't getting sleep because they just weren't, or if it was just because there was too much on their plate. So how do you manage a sleep routine for your teenager and above so that it is consistent when you have either work or school homework that's making you stay up late at night? I mean, what should the priority be?
Yeah, you know, sleep is so important for literally every single aspect of our development and well-being. And so I think really the shift happens or needs to happen in establishing sleep as a core family value. And sometimes that falls on us as parents to not let our kids get super overscheduled. Or, you know what, I know you have a lot of homework to do. There's a lot of pressure. You still got to be in bed by 10 p.m. or something. And also help them realize the effects. Because teenagers, it's all about power and control issues. But if we can help them realize how important this is, then they can also hopefully shift their behaviors. Also, do not wake your kids up on the weekend. Let them sleep until 10, 11,
Really?
12. I do not care. The weekend is a fantastic time for kids to be able to catch up. I think we have this old narrative that sleeping too much is indulgent, it's lazy. You got to get up and get the day started. And I really, really advise parents of teenagers, let them sleep in. The weekend is often the only time that they can catch up.
I like that advice.
I do too, and that's not something you often hear from a
Right.
sleep expert.
She's a scientist,
I know.
so she knows.
Usually we hear, no, you should stay on the same schedule, including on the weekend. Okay, so let's talk about some things we can all do in order to make sure that we sleep better. So my biggest complaint about my sleep is that for some reason I'll wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and I cannot go back to sleep. What's your biggest sleep issue?
Noise. A lot of times if I'm awakened by noise, especially very late, just before the sun comes up, like maybe 5 a.m. or something, and then I'm awake and can't get back to sleep for the next hour and a half or two, because I know I'm getting up in 90 minutes.
Okay, so we both have that. You're up in the middle and you can't go back to sleep. What advice do you have?
Yes, so we call that middle insomnia if it happens frequently. So lots of people either have trouble falling asleep initially in the night, you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't fall back to sleep, or you wake up too early in the morning and you wish you could have slept the whole time. So what we do with that, unfortunately, the best tip that I have for you is get out of bed if you're not sleeping. It's not going to feel great that day, but you're actually investing in your sleep health big picture, because you're sending the message to your sleep system, hey, the bed is not the place where I lie awake at night wishing that I could sleep. If I'm not sleeping, I'm not staying in bed. So it makes you real tired that day, but it's an investment, bigger picture, long term. If you're not falling back to sleep within about 30 minutes, get up, get out of bed, come back when you're tired enough to fall asleep.
What about melatonin? Tell me about melatonin. Should I take it? Should I not take it? When should I take it? When should I not take it?
Yeah, melatonin can be a great tool used sparingly. Sometimes melatonin these days has kind of turned into sleep candy for adults and children. I advise against that. But actually, melatonin for a time change can be great. It can help reset your body clock. Melatonin can be a great tool if you have jet lag. It usually helps with sleep onset, not necessarily sleep maintenance. And we don't need it every single day. It's better to get outside first thing in the morning, get outside again at the end of the day so your eyeballs see that low angle sunlight and can help orient your body clock around it. But yeah, if you want to use melatonin for the next day or two while you're adjusting to daylight savings, that's a great tool.
Okay, very good. And I'm wondering if there are other things that people read. Like I've heard lysine is something that you can take. Somebody was saying, oh, if I can't sleep, I'll just take a Tylenol PM. You're saying those things are okay in moderation, basically.
Yeah, I would rather lean on behavioral strategies and cognitive strategies to improve sleep. But there's absolutely a space and time for sleep aids. We just don't want to overuse them.
Okay, so what's the behavioral and cognitive strategies? Tell us about those.
Yeah, so the most important one is getting out of bed if you're not sleeping. Okay. Second is don't do other things in bed. Don't talk to your sister in bed. Don't watch TV. Don't work in bed. Leave your laptop out of your bedroom.
Don't read in bed either?
Reading in bed, I'm fine with. Okay. It's more scrolling, active, dopamine, exciting, engaging activities that we don't want to tie our bedroom and our bed to. You want that very primal instinct that the bed is the place where I sleep and not the bed is the place where I watch suspenseful shows, where I work on stressful emails, where I scroll, we just want to keep sleep in the bed and everything else out of the bedroom.
Interesting.
Tell me a little bit about sleep apnea. It seems like there's a lot of people that are undiagnosed. It seems like I have a lot of friends that even are diagnosed and, maybe they just hate that CPAP machine. But it seems like this is becoming more and more of a thing that people are increasingly in need of. It seems like our society is rolling towards a lot more people that have sleep apnea.
Yeah. Sleep apnea is a physiological thing. I do encourage anybody that has had sleep issues or that seems to sleep all night but wakes up feeling utterly exhausted. It's great to get a sleep study and just have more data and information. If you do have sleep apnea, a CPAP machine is so helpful. So I know it's annoying, but your sleep quality deeply matters for your physical well-being, your health. It deeply matters for your mental well-being, and it also matters for your relationships. And so sleep truly is one of the easiest modifiable ways to increase our baseline of well-being across the board.
Yeah, that
and I
makes
say
sense.
easily modifiable. I know sleep can be really tricky, but when we invest in our sleep, little improvements make a massive change big picture.
Yeah.
Our sleep is so incredibly important.
Yeah, it is. I've never understood why children and babies fight it because I'm like, oh my God, I love to sleep so much, right? Okay, so I'm looking at a list of things that you sent for us, and one of them I thought was interesting, which is you said, watching TV before bed is actually, if you have to, is actually better than scrolling on your phone. Does that have something to do with the blue lights? Explain.
So there's two different factors here. One is the blue light, which we know isn't great. It tricks our brain into thinking, oh, is it still daytime? Usually we have enough sleep pressure that we can override that. The negative part about scrolling is the algorithms are wired to keep you engaged, and there's so much content coming at you so quickly. And there's so much divisiveness on social media with lots of people posting rage bait. And so scrolling can really activate all of our energy even more than a TV show would. So I don't love either, but if you're gonna choose some blue light before bed, I'd rather you watch something kind of neutral like a sitcom than sit and scroll, because you're wired to stay engaged, and so much of the content is intentionally created to give you an emotional reaction.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
great
just not
advice.
what we want.
And that's valid advice for daytime, sleep time,
So true.
anytime, and you make a very valid point.
I love that rage bait. You're right about that, right? So,
horrible.
Or, you can watch us. You can watch us online.
We haven't raged at all.
Chrissy, where do you want people to go? What's your website if they want to kind of learn a little more about you and your latest book?
Yes, thank you. My website is thepeacefulsleeper.com. You can find me on all social channels, same name, the.peaceful.sleeper. And the book is also the same name, The Peaceful
Very nice.
Sleeper.
And I'm just curious, do you and your family have a sleep routine the whole family goes through before bedtime?
Yes, sleep is a family value, I always say. So I really like to have a quick bedtime routine so that it doesn't have to be so long and drawn out. But we really emphasize how important sleep is. When we sleep well, we celebrate it. If everybody feels fragile in the morning, we usually tie that back to sleep. Or, I have young girls, so if everybody's fighting a lot, I'm like, oh, it sounds like we didn't sleep very well. I'm so excited to have a good reset tonight.
I just picture in your household, being sleep a family value, that you guys all have like jammies that coordinate together,
Sleep
We do.
jams. Yeah, of
Guilty
course.
as charged.
Chrissy, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for your good tips. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so when we get up early in the morning, get out of the bed. I usually just grab my book and I'll sit and read until I get tired again.
Yeah.
So, but maybe I'll
And
move to the chair.
you get smarter.
And I get smarter too.
Happy day.
And don't go away. We'll be right back.
You'll be smart if
That's
you come
right,
back.
if you stick around with us.
Smarter.
Welcome back to Chicago Live, everybody. We're having a good morning. Hope you are too. Hope you got a good night's rest, despite the fact that it's daylight saving time, right?
Well, you know what? You'll have more time to play in the afternoon, more time to get that golf game in this afternoon.
Yeah. And speaking of sun, we're talking solar.
Okay.
The sun is now going to be hanging out with us a little bit longer,
Well,
right?
later in the day, yeah.
So you might ask, we are going to be interviewing somebody right now about the nation's first solar cafe. So you're saying to me, Mark, Sylvia,
what is the first solar cafe?
Well, I don't know.
Let's find out.
Let's find out because Chris Lamas is COO of Winfrey Solar and the co-owner of the Winfrey Solar Cafe, the first cafe, and this is opened in Evanston. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, explain this. What exactly is a solar cafe?
Well, it's kind of a unique idea, isn't it? Basically, we wanted to have a space where customers could come in and either treat us like a normal cafe, or if they're interested in going solar for their home or business, they have that option too, to get a free consultation or a free quote.
So interesting. So you guys are really first and foremost a solar company, but you happen to have a cafe and you can bring the two together. Is that how this works?
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
We've been in business since 2009. We're a Chicago-based solar company, and we do residential, commercial, and we're getting into the community solar field now.
So basically, the cafe is kind of a marketing attempt to get people in so we can talk about solar.
Yeah, exactly. It's a unique idea. We found a great space in Evanston. It's really a welcoming community. We have roots here too. It's really an honor to be here because Evanston has shown a commitment to sustainability since about the 1970s.
Yeah.
And recently, last year, they passed the Healthy Buildings Ordinance, which has a goal of getting to net zero by 2050. And that's they're starting a staggered approach to that in 2030. So it seemed like the right time to move here and kind of put some roots down.
Yeah, Evanston would seem like a good spot for that.
So the company, you're basically putting solar panels on people's roofs, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So where does
mounts,
that,
but...
I've seen several different programs. There's a program that just feeds back into the grid and you get like a percentage off your bill. I've seen other programs that go into the home. I've seen other programs which surprise me, that if we lose power, you can't even get the electricity off of your roof. So tell me how your panels work, how your program works.
Sure. Well, there's a lot of different options. I think the first thing you referenced is called net metering. So basically the idea is during the day you're producing, and I know you guys were talking about the sun a lot already with daylight savings time. Now we're entering the big season for production. So, if you're at home or if you're at work, you're producing during the day. And then at night, obviously the sun isn't around, so you have to get energy then. So you're pulling back from the grid. So it kind of trues up at the end of the month, and then your bill reflects your savings from everything you produced, everything you've used, and then everything you're pulling from the grid. As far as having power during an outage, we do offer battery backup options, which are becoming increasingly popular lately.
Okay, so that'd be an extra add-on at that point.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm curious then, do you use solar energy at the cafe? Is that capable? Is that a possibility? Are you using solar energy as we speak?
So eventually we would like to get a system on the roof. We'll have to work with our landlord on that one. But yeah, we're signed up with a third-party service that actually provides communities solar energy. So
if I come in,
technically we are. I would like to get a direct connection one day.
Of course. Yeah. So if I come in, what am I gonna? What are you gonna offer me? I have coffee. What else do you have?
Sure. Yeah, this is really the exciting part. Outside of the solar, we're honored to partner with a local Evanston bakery called Button. So we have a wide assortment of pastries and baked goods from them. I'm thinking in the next couple of weeks, maybe month, we're going to start offering their sandwiches and pizza too. But everything from them is just very delicious, and the owners are very supportive of us, and we just couldn't be happier to partner with such a great and local company. They're less than a mile away, so that really helps things out. And then we offer, you can see our menu behind us. We've got a large assortment of coffee drinks from a local coffee roaster called Clear Story. They're relatively new brand, but they're under the family of Sparrow Roasters, which is pretty well known in the city. And then we also offer a wide assortment of teas from the rare tea sellers.
Ooh, you've got good products. I love them. Yeah.
You'll have to come by and visit. Yeah,
absolutely.
You're welcome anytime.
I've got a question regarding the solar part. So some solar experts tell us that if your goal is to achieve carbon neutrality, that solar panels in the Midwest and the Northeast don't make sense, that the only place they become carbon neutral is from Texas to California. If you had a consumer come in and that was their concern, how would you overcome that concern for them?
Well, I'm not in sales, so I wouldn't give them any falsehoods or anything. You know, we don't live in the sunniest part of the country. That is true. But, you know, we have customers, and I have friends and family who have solar, and, you know, the proof's in the pudding, as they say. I see their bills. They're drastically lower than they would be paying. You know, I don't know. You've probably noticed with your own energy bills that they just keep going up and up. Yeah. So you will save money by going solar in the long run. And the typical life of a system is 25 to 30 years. So can you imagine what we're going to be paying for electricity in 25 years?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of pudding, do you have pudding here at the cafe?
That's funny you mentioned that, because so far our top selling product is bread pudding.
Oh,
wow.
I love a good bread pudding.
No
Button Cafe, you said?
Amazing,
Oh my
really.
gosh. Oh, well, that is fantastic. I'm sure the people of Evanston are happy to have you guys there. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. What's the address for people who are interested in stopping by?
It's 517 Dempster. We're just a little bit east of Dempster in Chicago on the main Dempster Mile.
Okay, very good. Great to meet you. Good luck. Best with everything.
Same. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Yeah, you bet.
Pleasure.
Look forward to the bread pudding.
Yeah.
Come by anytime.
We will. You take care.
Take care.
All right. Mark and I have a couple of more things we're going to be going over, so stick around and we'll be right back.
Like that music. We need different music.
Well,
we need something a little more hip.
Yeah, I agree. Like us, because we're so hip.
It's the Sylvia and Mark show here. Thank you for joining us here this morning. You know, for decades, St. Patrick's Day in the U.S. has been synonymous with drinking.
Yep.
Well, as people who celebrate tend to drink about 4.2 alcoholic drinks on an average St. Patrick's Day.
4.2.
4.2.
That's just for St. Patrick's
Oh, wait, hang on a
Day.
second. Let me see if there's a decimal point in there. It could be 42.
No, it better not, right?
No, it's 42. 4.2. Yeah, and who's drinking the 0.2 beverage? That's what I want to know, right?
It's interesting because this is now happening during a time that we're actually seeing like non-alcoholic drinks just go gangbusters.
Become a big thing. We've had dry January, dry February, dry
sober October.
Right?
Yeah, there's a dry for everything.
To the point where some of the breweries, the microbreweries, are kind of struggling a little bit because people aren't going back and knocking them back so much.
So, but this is so cool. So there's this organization called Phoenix. Mark and I are just learning about this today. And they are having a sober St. Patrick's Day celebration, and they've been around for a while. So let's talk now to Mark Graham. He is with the Phoenix. He's a volunteer and one of their spokespeople. He can tell us all about this. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did this all come about? You've been doing this, you mentioned, for a couple of years, for several years.
Yeah, you know, my journey in recovery, I started getting into running, and I was, I found myself, down at, whether it was the Chicago Half Marathon or the Chicago Marathon, and seeing a lot of people in recovery. And I noticed, with like American Cancer Society and the Leukemia Foundation and all these causes. And I just thought, wouldn't it be neat if there was a voice and a face to recovery? Fast forward, I recognized a guy on a TED Talk that was beginning a national nonprofit organization, a sober active community that fosters connection, resilience, and personal growth, and helping people stay sober. And I reached out to Scott in roughly 2016, and we brought Phoenix to Chicago here about 9 years ago.
And Phoenix does what exactly here in Chicago?
Yeah, so what Phoenix is we offer free programming for people in recovery or that support people in recovery, whether that's family members or loved ones. And we have events all over the city, whether it's rock climbing, running, cycling, and like this on St. Patrick's Day, we happen to have roller skating and trivia. And so these are free events for anybody that's 48 hours sober, and you just sign up and you come, and you're going to be around people that are on the same journey that you're on. So we believe in the power of connection.
Yeah, that is very cool. I love what you guys are doing because, especially when it comes to St. Patrick's Day, I mean, there has to be a lot of social pressure. If you're on the road to recovery, you see, advertisements, you see, signs, it becomes kind of a cultural thing. So for you guys to provide an alternative like that, it's really nice to see.
Absolutely, and believe it or not, St. Patrick's Day is it's a catalyst, unfortunately, to get a lot of people into recovery, and people that have attempted dry January, and now this culmination of which can be a rough weekend for people if they overindulge. And so, we try to offer, a sober, believe it or not, Chicago is one of the largest recovery communities in the world, and so there's so many people that are on the same path that you can do stuff. I recommend, because the bars, instead of hanging out in the bar all day, get out and see the Green River, get outside and see the parade and be outdoors. And if you are going to be inside of a bar, be mindful of your drink if you're sober, whether that's a mocktail or if you're drinking an NA beer, just be mindful that it's an NA beer and stay close to your crew. And, you can have an amazing day and really have an authentic experience.
Yeah, I had a friend I like what you said, stay close to your crew. I had a friend that always talked about, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, take a crew with you. So I like where you're coming from.
Definitely. I have to say, this whole sober movement has grown over the last, 5-10 years, and I hear a lot of it is driven kind of by the younger generation. Has it helped at all in the efforts that you guys have at the Phoenix? Because you can't go to a restaurant these days without having a non-alcoholic option on the menu. Everybody is doing it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Phoenix, we believe that, this is a movement, and this is only going to be growing. And we want to get into where it's, where when you're in recovery, that there's a place for you. And whether that's, having options when you go out to drink, or just having a really vibrant community of people that are on the same path. It's not easy when, you're surrounded by, opportunities to drink and indulge in these situations. So to have, power in numbers, and, whether it's a social activities that, Phoenix is now, we're involved in music festivals and comedy shows. And so we try to meet wherever you're at in recovery. If it brings people together, we'll create an event and we'll make that happen. And our programs are free, and they're, we believe this year with treatment being more difficult to get into, that Phoenix is going to have a bigger role in this country and, overcoming addiction.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that you said that we have the largest recovery community here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Did you say the world or in the?
No, well, I've been around the world, and we're blessed that this is a world-class city. So I can only go by people that come here from London and Paris and New York and all over, that when, if they're in recovery, they say, wow, you guys have it going on here, that we're a very vibrant recovery community, to say the least.
That is really good to know.
Okay, another question for you. So when we're talking about sober, are we talking about California sober, where a lot of people they're not drinking anymore, but they're
token up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever your pathway is, we want to, whatever's going to get you in the door, and everybody's on their own journey and on their own path. I'm abstinent of all drugs and alcohol, and that's the path that I chose today. But, we really do try to meet people where they're at. And we do have one requirement, that you do have to have 48 hours sober to attend our events. And we hope that you adhere to that. And, that's what we try to do. We try to foster a safe space for people to, navigate their journey through. This is, it's not an easy journey. It truly is a day by day, effort. And, we believe that the opposite of addiction is connection. And so our community that's the essence of Phoenix and where we're at. In Phoenix, we just exceeded over 1 million members in the country.
Wow.
So we are having a profound success in keeping people clean and sober.
Well, I like your knowledge on the subject. I like your leadership, and I like your passion. And I can only imagine that you are a great team member when it comes to doing this.
That's great. It actually.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, Mark. It actually sounds like fun. You said you have to be 48 hours. I was wondering why specifically 48 hours. And then my other question was, it just kind of sounds like a fun social situation. Are you welcoming everybody?
Yeah, we do, and that's one of the things is we rise up together, and that's family and loved ones, and we don't want to leave anybody left behind. So when somebody's new getting into recovery, we want to support your loved ones and your family and whatever that looks like. And so that's the fun thing about if we're rock climbing or we're on the lakefront in an event or doing yoga, it's less about the event so much and more about bringing people together and making connections.
Yeah,
and if that's the vehicle that we have, then, that's what we'll foster and support.
Good on you.
Love it. Mark Graham with Phoenix. Thank you so much. Happy sober St. Patrick's and everything else. Oh, what's the website people should go to if they want to learn more about you?
It's thephoenix.org. And if you want to find all of our events, it's an app that you could find on your app store. It's called the New Form app. And on that app, you'll see all of the events and activities that are not only going on here, but nationwide. So if you're traveling and you're somewhere and you want to get connected, you can find one of our activities anywhere around the country.
Very nice. So great to meet you. Have a safe and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you so much for having me.
You take care.
Thank you.
Pretty cool. I love that that's an option for people.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. So, yesterday, Mark Strell, on my phone,
Yes.
my iPhone. I'm
You have a very
looking at
pretty
my
phone, by
calendar.
the way.
Oh, thank you
Very
so much.
regal.
Thank you. I'm looking at my calendar, and there's an event on here, and I'm thinking, what the
Where
heck
did
is
that come from?
Where did that come from? What the
Yeah.
heck is it? And I've since deleted it. And then come to find out, there is a new scam going on. Where the scammers can now have access to our calendars.
Really?
So if you go on your phone, like I did, and see something that's not supposed to be there, that's all part of this new phishing thing.
Yeah, are they
they're doing.
trying to get you to go to an actual event? Are they promoting an event?
So-
or are they just trying to get you to open it up so that they
Well,
can get
that's
into
a good question because I clicked on it and it didn't take me anywhere, but
Yeah.
it appeared on my calendar. So I knew instantly, I thought, I didn't put that on
Yeah.
there. So I immediately deleted it.
Yep.
But from what I've read, some of the things that they're trying to get you to do is they're also trying to get you to call these numbers.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope,
So
nope.
have you noticed that on your phone yet?
I'll tell you what I'm getting. You know, I don't know if you get texts and people are like, hey, what you doing
Oh,
tonight
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But the texts are getting more and more like, hey, are you why don't you call me? Or,
Yeah.
you know, they're like, oh,
have
do
a
I know
minute?
this person? Yes.
They're very good. It's
You
really
have to
tricky,
look at
isn't
them
it?
and go, wait, I don't know anyone in the New York area
Yeah,
code. You
I know, it's crazy. But just so we wanted to let you know about that.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for it. because-
Sylvia is always keeping an eye
Well,
out for
I
you.
was shocked. I thought,
Yeah.
wow, they've really gotten good at this, haven't they?
If there's dollars to be had, there's a scammer out
Yeah,
there. Right?
no. So, but we are too smart for that, and
Well,
you are too.
She is.
He is.
I follow what she does.
Thank you for joining us on Chicago Live, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. I sound
Yes.
like Elmo Fudd.
Well,
Have a great rest
that's what
of
I
your
like
weekend.
about
we'll
you,
see
actually.
you tomorrow back here.
In Congress who know how to get things done. And that's why I'm endorsing Daniel Biss for Congress.
Just like Daniel Biss took on ICE in our streets,
Get the hell out of this.
he'll keep fighting for us in Congress.
I'm Daniel Biss, and I approve this message.
Tonight, the heated race for Cook County Board President. Incumbent Toni Preckwinkle seeks a 5th term, but she's facing a challenge from longtime downtown Chicago alderman Brendan Riley. The issues are endless: immigration, crime, healthcare, taxes. The divisions are stark. The attack ads are flying. Tonight, they face off against each other. Our debate for Cook County Board President starts now. And good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Chicago Report debate series tonight. As we mentioned, the race for Cook County Board President. And first, a note on our format. We will conduct this as a panel discussion. I will moderate. No opening and closing statements. I will direct questions to our guests and give them the opportunity to follow up or rebut. I reserve the right to cut guests off if they are giving speeches or not answering questions. And without further ado, let's introduce the candidates. First, Toni Preckwinkle. She has served as Cook County Board President since 2010 and is chair of the Cook County Democratic Party. Prior to that, Ms. Preckwinkle served in Chicago City Council as alderperson for the city's 4th Ward. And Brendan Riley. Mr. Riley has served as 42nd Ward Alderman since 2007. And prior to that, he served many years as a staffer in the Illinois General Assembly. Ms. Preckwinkle, Mr. Riley, thank you so much for being here. Let's have a great debate. First, before we get into some of the heated questions, a somber day, I would like to get both of your reflections on the death and the legacy of Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr., starting with you, Ms. Preckwinkle.
You know, I just want to express my condolences to Jacqueline Jackson and their children and family and friends. And Reverend Jackson was an iconic figure here in Chicago, and not just in Chicago, nationally and internationally. He was an advocate not just for civil rights, but for human rights. And his death is a great loss to our city.
And Mr. Riley, your thoughts and reflections today?
Yeah, he was an absolute icon and a great leader who did a lot to move the needle on the civil rights movement. And his work with Rainbow Push was impactful, and it's going to be a great loss for the city.
All right. And as we mentioned today, our condolences to the family of Reverend Jesse Jackson, his children, his widow, and everybody that loved him. Let's start with the issue of immigration, which has been such a hot topic in the last several months. Madam President, you've called for the Cook County State's Attorney, Eileen O'Neill Burke, to prosecute the killing of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez and perhaps the shooting of Marimar Martinez at the hands of immigration agents. She has said that her office is very limited in her ability to do that. Is she wrong?
I think that everybody in this arena needs to do what they can to fight back against Donald Trump. And let's talk about what Donald Trump has done. You know, I'm a history teacher, and this is a really profoundly disturbing moment in our country's history. Donald Trump has declared war on blue states, blue counties, and blue cities. He was in office only a couple weeks before he sued the governor and the mayor and me around immigration enforcement, trying to intimidate us to work with ICE and the Border Patrol. And we refused. We stood up. We didn't cave in. We didn't negotiate with them. We fought them in court, and the case was thrown out in the fall. But then what you saw is Operation Midway Blitz. ICE and Border Patrol agents came into our communities and snatched people off the streets without due process. A young father was killed. A protester was shot 5 times. These assaults on our immigrant communities are just atrocious. But it's not just the assaults on our immigrant communities. It's also the fact that he is trying to dismantle President Obama's legacy, more access to health care. He's cut funding for nutrition programs, and now, as a result of the most recent action by the federal government, they're trying to take away child care benefits in Illinois and 3 other states, 3 other Democratic
states. But to the
states.
issue of the Cook County State's Attorney, she said she doesn't have much latitude to prosecute.
I think every actor in this arena needs to do what they can. When the ICE and Border Patrol folks came to Cook County, I issued an executive order. I said, you can't be on our property. You can't be in our hospitals. You can't be in our courtrooms. You can't be in our parking lots. Everybody has to do what they can. And I think the state's attorney needs to look at what opportunities there might be for her to investigate the murder of the young father and the shooting of the protester.
Alderman Riley, she said it would be up to local law enforcement to start an investigation. She can't just begin that. Do you agree with her that she doesn't have much latitude to prosecute in these